Welcome to 24 Astro. How a Virgo can deal with disappointment or failure, or both. I've done a video on Chiron in Virgo before and my take on it and how I see the shadow sides of Virgo being this striving for an idealistic purity, and if we're not met up with that ideal, it can be this woundedness and this sense of being worthy of rejection in our inner child and in our sensitivity that will cause us to suffer and feel like we're not worthy if we can't live up to that high expectation that we have for ourselves. And how to then heal this, which I mentioned in the first video. It's to begin this relationship towards your inner child and meeting it with self-love, which is very easy to just say like that. Like, we can understand that intellectually, but actually getting there takes time and it takes devotion, because we need to have our inner child needs to trust our adult selves that we will not abandon ourselves in challenging situations, and we actually need to show up and see ourselves and be loving and being able to hold ourselves in difficult situations instead of just blaming ourselves for the failure. And how we do that, if we are dealt with something challenging in our lives, we're projecting something outside ourselves. Most times our circumstances are reflecting of our inner state, so they're actually showing us failure so that we can process it and integrate. I love that word. So we can that's a small like self-awareness thing that I had to throw in there, because editing my videos I realized I say integrate so often, but I really do love that word. How to then use those opportunities and see them as opportunities instead of seeing them as challenges and showing us that we're not good enough, because that's our old thought form. That's our old like victim mentality of seeing something that we wanted to go a certain way not pan out, seeing it as like a justification for our inner critic to be like, see, you can't do that thing, or you're not good enough, instead of going against ourselves in those types of situations and using them as, this is an opportunity for me to show my inner child that I'm actually responsible enough and able enough to hold this situation and show myself love in this, so that the trust we build is more durable, and this creates a sense of security in yourself that you can handle anything eventually. And it builds resilience and it builds endurance, and it shows your inner child that this perfectionism that you've put upon yourself unconsciously, you've gotten that type of wound, but you showing yourself that you're not going to blame yourself when something doesn't turn out how you wanted, but instead being there and being loving. And just like that shift from this always happens to me, blah blah blah, I'm a victim, and then instead it doesn't have to be like instantly you realize this and then everything is better. It probably goes from victim and then reflection afterwards, a few days, a few weeks, and then getting to this lighter point where you transcend the victim mentality into lessons. That's so much more realistic than just going to this like straight away. But instead, like turning the shadow sides into the positive lessons that your Chiron in Virgo needs to transcend. If you want your sensitive, vulnerable inner child to blossom, you need to face this dilemma. Because if you just let it be there unevolved and unprocessed, it will attract these failure situations, and you will just like be in the victim position, and that's just a very hopeless state to be in. It's not giving you the satisfaction that you want out of life and situations. So just turning failures into lessons, and with time then again just like realize that it takes a lot of patience to go from there to there. Some recommendations also for this is to read books on failure and fear of success, fear of criticism. Just like there's so many self-help books on this topic that can stimulate this wound to come up, and if you feel a lot of resistance towards it, probably not the time for you to do that. But to really, with astrology, see the core issue and then getting some keywords, what it is you can actually explore, and then going there saves a lot of time, instead of if you just know that you have a lot of fear, you're maybe socially anxious, you have a lot of anxiety, and it's like the whole world is the the root cause. You're just in constant fear. But if with astrology, if you realize what type of zodiac sign and house, you get such a clearer search word. Like it's basically like Google handling you or handing you the search words basically. So this, knowing this, that the fear of criticism and perfectionism could be your key wound, like what you need to explore, can show you what type of books you can read. You can look at a lot of videos on this, and also it gives you prompts to do shadow work with. You can sit quietly and inquire, why am I scared of someone saying I'm not enough? What will happen if what I produce is not good enough? What will happen if someone thinks I'm not perfect? Like, keep exploring and exploring and inquiring. That's like one shadow thing you can do. And you can also look up guided meditation, fear of failure or fear of perfection, fear of imperfection. That's also like you get this keyword and now you can explore it. And if you don't feel like perfectionism resonates as much, you can look at a list of shadow sides, shadow words for Virgo, and you can pick whatever word resonates the most for you, because words hold so much energy, so much meaning and associations, and it's different for everyone. So we need to work with whatever resonates, whatever feels like it draws you and inspires you towards doing something else, like feeling something, it excites you. That's like your truth. You need to honor that path. So I've given you a few suggestions on how to continue this fear of perfection or rejection with Chiron in Virgo. I hoped you liked this. So like, to summarize, we need to build our ability to hold the fear of rejection. We need to give ourselves more tools and experiences where we realize it's teaching us something. It's not something to fear that's outside ourselves. It's actually something that's a blessing and a lesson for us to evolve and mature and take responsibility as conscious adults with a lot of different tools now, and build that trust towards or between your inner child and your adult self, and showing up. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.